In all of these words, we're looking at irregular verbs. So rather than adding ed to the end, we're changing the long E sound in weep to a short vowel sound, and it's represented by just an E. So it's going to be making it sound. And except for down here where we get to dreamt. Sounds, just be aware, it sounds like there's a P there, but there's not. Your mouth nearly goes to form the P, but there's no P. It's dreamt. Okay, so our words are wept, slept, crept, swept, smelt, spelt, knelt, dealt, leapt, and dreamt. Now this commonly happens with the long E sound. That's the most common way where we have sound that we have irregular verbs with. So just be aware of that. It's a good hint for the future. Now what do these words mean? Well, wept means where you cry or you shed tears. Slept means that you take a rest, you're not awake. Crept means when you approach something slowly and without being noticed. Swept means where you clean with a broom. Smelt is where you smell a scent or odour through your nose. Spelt is where you name and write letters in a word correctly. Knelt is where the action or the position of kneeling on one or both knees. Dealt might mean where you deal cards to each player, so everyone's got the same number of cards. Or it could also mean where you take action in response to a situation. Leapt means to move suddenly or quickly, and dreamt means the images or thoughts passing through your mind during sleep. Now just be aware here too that even though we're dropping the double E to a short et sound by just using the E here, down here we're actually using the EA for the short et sound. So EA can make both a long and short sound. So it can make the E sound and it can also make the et sound. And there's a silent letter there that I failed to show you earlier. These words are all verbs, and you'll find that when you have a long E sound in a verb, quite often it's going to form an irregular verb, because rather than adding the ED to take it to past tense, we just shorten that long vowel sound to an et sound. So it's quite often that the verbs with long E in them are the irregular verbs, where we shorten that long sound to an et sound. So it could be represented by EA for the long vowel sound, or just a E for the long E sound, and we're going to change it from that. We can even keep that to represent both the long E sound and the short et sound. So this line means a long sound, this little cut means a short sound. So listen to the words. Wept comes from the word weep. Slept comes from the word sleep. Crept comes from the word creep. Swept comes from the word sweep. Smelt comes from the word smell. Spelt comes from the word spell, etc. Knelt, dealt, leapt, and dreamt. So just be aware of that, because that's an easy way to recognise an irregular verb where the long E sound is changing to a short et sound. Now in this section you have to read the clues to fill in the crossword, and of course they're all list words, and down the bottom fill in the gaps in these sentences with the list word from above. These are all irregular verbs written in past tense. We've got wept, slept, crept, swept, smelt, spelt, knelt, dealt, leapt, and dreamt. So in these words we've had a long E sound represented by EA or double E in the base word changed to a short et sound. And the short et sound is represented by either EA or the letter E. Now this is going to be handy when you get to the bottom and you've got to find the base word. So of course smelt comes from the word smell, knelt comes from the word kneel. So you're going to have to remember this important information to take them back to their base word form. Now in this section here you're doing a number of verb families because we really want you to have the practice with recognising these irregular past tense verbs. And this only seems to really happen, most irregular verbs are because of that long E sound. It really is most common in words with a long E sound. Now down here you have to finish these idioms and then give an explanation as to what each of them mean before you do that last section using the information we've given you up here.